Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. Welcome back to Glowing Success. I'm going to share with you how I do my forms for my clients. So I see this question pop up a lot online, and I want to give you guys some options and some of the things that I've used over the years for my forms. So obviously we have to have our clients fill out forms, right? They need to fill out consent forms. They need to fill out health history forms. There's all sorts of forms that insurance requires our clients to fill out before each appointment or before their first appointment, things like that. So one of the best ways to get forms, so I'm sure that's kind of the first question, right, is going through your insurance company. So I go through Associated Skincare Professionals, and they have a ton of forms online that you can download, and you can do whatever you want with it. And you can always have your forms updated to you. So I will say, if you are like, I want to get my forms customized, you can definitely do that. Have an attorney look over the form, have them fill it out for you, have them customize forms for you. That's just a really expensive route. So the cheaper route and the most immediate route that a lot of people go to is going through your insurance company. So I highly suggest whatever insurance you have chosen, go to them. They should have an online portal for you to go to and download these forms. So once you've downloaded, there's a couple different ways you can have your clients fill it out. So I originally, and for many years, had my clients fill them out in person with a wet erase marker. And basically what I did is I would print off all the forms, laminate them. So they have these little laminating sheets you can go buy from pretty much any office supply store. So you can do a self-lamination, so you don't have to do fancy stuff. Self-lamination just sticks to the sheet, and then they can fill it out with a wet erase marker. And then what I did is I got a little handy small scanner. So I'd run that form that's filled out all through the scanner. The scanner has like an SD card or a micro SD card attached to the back of it. I got a little tool to go into it. It attaches that SD card to it, and then I can put it to the back of my computer. So then it can download onto my computer, and I can do whatever I want with it. So for me, I use Square to check out my clients and to do all the payment options. Square is really nice because in each client profile, they have it where you can download forms and files. So once I have downloaded that form from the scanner to my computer, I would just put it into the client's profile. So that's how I did it for many years. It worked out great. It still does. I still have it as a backup plan. But recently I wanted to switch over to doing online forms. So doing forms either on my iPad, doing forms where I can email the client the forms to look over or fill it out before the appointment, and so forth. There's many reasons to do that. So this can actually help the client in so many ways. So sometimes clients do want to see the form and fill it out before their appointment. It saves them time, it saves them anxiety, it saves them stress. They want to know, kind of what to expect from that form. And it just saves you time on the other side, right? So you can go over the form with them, of course, at the consultation, but you don't have to spend that time where they're filling it out. Now, how I did it, and the cheapest way I've found for myself anyway, and obviously everybody's different with this, but basically what I've done is, so I've taken all my forms that I have already downloaded from my insurance company and I have gone and make them fillable. So fillable just means that people can open up the form, touch the field, and they can type it, right? So that's essentially what fillable means. And so I found a website, it's called pdfescape.com, and it's kind of got red all over it. So if you're looking at it and you're wondering what is it, that's what it looks like. And basically, I made all of my forms. So I download my forms onto this pdfescape.com, and it makes them, you can fill in the fields. So there's so many different ways you can customize it to make it fillable. So for me, I did a lot of text fields. There's some where you can do check boxes. There's some where you can do a reset button. There's some where you can do a circle around things. So there's all sorts of ways you can customize a form on this website. So I highly suggest check it out, kind of play around with it a little bit. But like I was saying earlier, I did a lot of text fields and I did a lot of checkbox fields. So I'm taking those fillable forms, so I download them, put them on my desktop, wherever I can save them, Google Drive, however you like to save your documents. And basically what I'll do is I'll pop them up through my drive. I'll make a copy in my drive. So I know this kind of sounds like a lot of steps already, but I promise you this is the freest way I found. So I have my clients now, if I'm going to have them fill it out in person, on an iPad. So on my iPad, I bring up my Google Drive because that's where I'm keeping all of my major copies of the forms. Open up that form, the fillable form, open it up, make a copy. So that's very important because you don't want to fill out that main form that you've already copied, right? So make a copy, open up that copy, where when you make a copy, download it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumbling through these steps. I'll go through these steps in the show notes. So if you guys were like, Heidi, what are you doing? I'll go through them step by step in the show notes. So I make a copy, download that copy, and then when that downloaded copy, just bring it up however you can download. I click on downloads and I just click on it. It'll pop up the downloaded copy. And then from there on my iPad, because Apple has really great features, and I'm sure other softwares out there have this similar things as well. But when you bring it up, obviously I can fill out the filled in forms that I did with Fillable, the fillable forms, I should say, or fillable fields. So that will still be there. But then also they have this option where you can take a pen, marker, it kind of looks like a little pen up in the right-hand corner. You click on that and then they can write wherever they want on that form with that option. So for me, I left the signature field blank. I did not put a field in there when I was doing the fillable forms on PDF Escape. So that's very important. Leave that signature blank because you are going to want to have them fill out that signature part in person or some way that they can do an actual signature, like how they would do a signature, essentially. Most insurance companies require that for a lot of forms, so they can't just type their name as a signature, but really make sure that your insurance company is very clear about that and what they require. And some insurance companies do require that you have them fill out a form every time they come in, so make sure you're understanding what they're requiring of you for these forms. But I left that signature part blank when I was doing my fillable parts, so I knew that I was going to have them fill it out on the iPad. So they'll fill in all the fillable fields through the keyboard. So they'll just tap on the field and it'll just bring up the keyboard and they can just put all the information in, boop, boop, boop. And then I have a little pen that goes with my iPad, and then I just have them sign at the bottom with the pen for the iPad. So as simple as that. I will transfer that. So I'll download that form onto the desktop of the iPad or whatever that is called. And I actually will share it with my desktop. So Apple you can share all of between your devices. So I'll share it with my desktop just because that's where I usually go to save things on my computer and things like that. So that form is already saved on my computer now, and then I can just file it into my Square account, file it into the customer account in Square, and bada bing, bada boom, that is it. So that is the freest version that I can kind of do when it comes to filling out forms. Now you can take these fillable forms, have them fill out most of the fields before they come in, and then just have them fill out the signature form when they come in, if that's what you want to do. So I will say, if you're going to be doing a lot of forms on pdfescape.com, they do have you, it is a paid feature. So I forgot how much they charge. I'll have to look that up because it's been a while, but I did opt in for the paid feature because I was doing a lot of forms at once for a while there. But now I hardly ever use it because most of my forms are fillable now and there's really no need. Sometimes I'll do a fillable form for other people just because I'm so familiar with the website. So sometimes people pay me to do their forms. But other than that, I have found that if you're doing a lot of forms all at once, they have you pay for it, but it's a pretty nice price. It's not super expensive. I want to say it was like around $20 for a year or something. I could be wrong with this, but it doesn't ring a bell in my memory of it being very expensive. So if that is the route you go, just know that that might be the one charge you have. But when it comes to filling out the forms, there's no fee attached to that, because I know sometimes with certain websites and certain softwares, they'll charge you based on every form you have the client fill out. So if you have a client fill out a form, they'll charge you like whatever for that form, or that your your membership will have a certain amount of forms that come with it or something like that. So I have seen a lot of those, and don't get me wrong, if that works for you, that works for you. I'm just giving you the options that are close to free or free. Obviously the lamination and having your client fill out the form with the wet erase marker, that's pretty much the freest I can get out here, other than actually printing off that form and buying the self lamination. But the overuse of it is the free part, right? Because that's really where a lot of companies will get you, is each signature they charge for, or each page they charge for, or something like that. So this whole process isn't necessarily free, but it'll be cheaper and easier to do in the end. So I hope that helps with you guys. If you guys are thinking about your forms and thinking about how you're going to do your forms, that is just two of the ways that I have done over the years that have really helped me and made clutter a lot less on my desktop. And it's easy for the client to fill out and so forth. So, but like I said earlier, I will put all those instructions in the show notes, and thank you for listening. I hope you liked that episode and found something useful or a tip that you can use immediately. If you are wanting more marketing tips, business tips, or anything like that, I have a lot of resources on my website. So I have PDFs that you can download for free. So look in your show notes. There should be a link in the show notes that you can click on, and it'll take you right to my coaching website. And thanks for listening.